I was candidly looking at other cities through VFA and thought, this would be a great way to jump into a new community, automatically have people to connect with, and then, someday come back to Kansas City. But the great opportunity was right here. So I had a great experience, learned a lot. I mean, it was fast exposure to software in various industries. But again, it helped me realize that, hey, I want to be on the operator side and I want to help build a company and be on the side talking to the VC. So that led me to Exponent. And now in that role, I'm honestly doing a lot of the same things. I'm talking to private equity partners. They're a lot of our clients. We are raising capital. We are making an acquisition. So there's just a lot going on within my business that I got to see on the other side, loosely on the investment side. So that's what I get to do in my daily role.
I think that so far the VFA experience, especially like in Kansas City after summer camp or training camp, it's been really awesome.
Not summer camp at all.
Yeah, I keep saying that, but it's training camp. It is during the summer though.
Yeah, it is.
But the initial first couple weeks were really fun and just trying to kind of get to know everyone within Kansas City. And specifically, there are also some other VFA fellows within Novel Capital that I've gotten to know very well as well, and that's been super fun. But on the more professional side of things in the job specifically, I mean, I've just been exposed to so much more than I thought that I would be going out of college, and being able to be more creative and self-sufficient and actually creating these processes that will end up being taken by the company and used, as value adds for our growth in the future. And so I think one thing for me was I really didn't want to just do one role. And so being in business development, kind of, I do have that main role, but I get to help on all different sides of the company, specifically like marketing and partnerships and helping with product optimization. And so that's been really, really life-changing, honestly, specifically coming from something that was more structured like finance. And so I really am looking forward to what we can do in the future. And I have a lot of hope with Kansas City in general as well for startups, as I can see how fast it's growing. And so I'm super excited.
And you started a company with other fellows, right?
Yeah, I started actually a fashion company with 2 other VFA fellows back in October, and we're slowly, starting to ramp up production where our first collection will be dropping in a few months, and it's called Villager Studio. It's the premise of it is we're taking kind of these roots from the villages of all the different types of backgrounds and countries, and that really connected to me because I'm originally from Bulgaria. My dad's side of the family, that side of the family came from the village, and there's so much like inspiration and creativity with how they take their garments and use them traditionally. And then so we wanted to kind of take those roots and bring them into the modern Western menswear silhouettes that you see nowadays, and kind of see this fusion of cultures, which has been awesome. And being able to, kind of take from my background and things like that. So that's been really exciting. It's a lot of work, but it's very fulfilling, and hopefully a lot more to come soon. So.
Right. Yep, go ahead. Yeah, I got plenty to say, but go ahead.
I think it goes back to the last point I made, that the sincerity in that group to help bring someone along who's generally green but has a lot of energy and skills to bring to the table. They have to have um, some systems and capacity in place to actually support that person coming on. And so, certainly some startups are hungry for the opportunity, but when you're talking about this is a paid opportunity, you're a scaling startup. So I guess someone have to define what a startup means to you in that context, but this has to be someone that has capacity to teach, right? And so Novel and Five Elms are established venture capital firms. I mean, they have very entrepreneurial folks working there as well. And I can speak to Keith and Carlos for sure, and probably Yoav. But at Novel, these are folks that are great reference points, and they have those systems, but they have capacity to teach. I don't know, what else would you add to that as a great
I would say also, I mean, the industry doesn't really matter, just because it's just about, can you provide that startup experience for our fellows, right? We want to make sure that you have a plan for upward trajectory, so that then you can also sustain that job for the next 2 years. And I think the great thing about VFA is it's not just about talent recruitment, but it's also support for those company partners. And so we actually found a way for us to actually connect you to all of those other company partners across our 13 markets, so that you can learn from them, but then also receive some of the same resources in those other cities that they might have as well. But a great diverse company partners, we have Canby's Markets is one of our company partners here in Kansas City. Then you can go as far as 5Ms, Novel Growth. Startland News has actually hired one of our fellows too. And then even large corporations like Community America, and inside of their innovation department, they did show us that they were able to house a VFA fellow. That fellow did appreciate that opportunity, just because it came with, for sure, a 401k and full benefits. But I mean, it's really just about, honestly, the conversation that I would have with the company partners, me vetting them through our board, just to ensure that we feel like that they have the sustainability to actually have one of our fellows in house, and then also have a nurturing culture, right? These are, as exquisite as these fellows are, they are coming fresh out of college, right? And so how can you ensure that they are putting in work to help you grow, but you're also creating a atmosphere for them to learn and for them to really be the best employee for you in that space. And so
it can't be looking for a cog, right? They
Right.
can't be looking for, you're coming out, you have a finance background, that's what you're gonna sit in that corner and do finance. Like what you referred to is that I think the essence of what we would articulate to a good company partner is that, oh, you're gonna have opportunity to look into a marketing strategy, be close to the vision, product strategy. You're having a real, view into those and an impact on the future of that company. So it cannot be that they're defining, I want someone to sit in this chair and do accounting all day.
Yeah.
There has to be some more variety than that to be a fellow.
Yeah, a good green flag for me is like, I don't have a job description yet, so I'm just gonna throw something up and then we'll figure it out when they get here. And I'm like, all right, bet you're a great company partner. Because honestly, that being stagnant is probably the fastest way for you to lose that fellow. Because the fellow came into the experience that we're giving them is that they're gonna come in there, they're gonna drive change, they're gonna wear multiple hats. The moment that they've been in that job, honestly, for 6 months and they don't have any actual mobility, they're hitting inside the transfer portal and be like, all right, where's the next job and next place that I can go to? We try to coach them not to do that, but those are the mindset that you kind of have to think of when you're coming to want to hire a fellow. It's a whole lot different than hiring somebody through a regular recruiting. These fellows actually want to drive change. They want to be an impact, not only in your job, but not only in your company, but in the ecosystem as well. I can hear you. I'm not a caffeine. Well, I am a caffeine addict. I try to switch to matcha. It's not what I thought it was gonna be. Uh, I did get some energy, but yeah, it's a little earthy. But well, go ahead.
I definitely am a caffeine addict. I can say that. Um, yeah, I stay off energy drinks, 100%. Just coffee. Tea is even better, but not as much caffeine. um, and in terms of your question, I did finance in school here, and president of the Financial Management Association last year. And so I was really going down this path to go into banking or something like that. But I think what really opened my eyes to startups and entrepreneurship was my venture capital internship. And because that's where we got to kind of see everything from an outside perspective. And I didn't even really know what a startup was before that, if I'm being honest. I like tech a lot, and I knew that I liked finance. And so um, I had a general idea of what I wanted to do, but we actually had a presentation similar to this at my internship where a current fellow came in. Shout out to Zach, and um, he kind of was the one that, you know, this was really a possibility for me when that presentation came up, because um, from there on I started looking for jobs, and I found Novel. Everything kind of went side by side with VFA, and um, I realized that there was this role for me which combines all my interests, and I just went with it. But really, to answer your second question, the second part of your second question, I think that what I wish I would have done in college was do more entrepreneurial things. Um, Obviously, internships are awesome, but you all have passions and hobbies, and there's always a way to turn that into something such as a business or a startup, whatever it may be. And that's where you really get to expand your network and learn the most about it, and how it's driving change in the world. So I would say really look into that. And then the second thing is networking was 100% the most important thing I did in college. I think that's that's how I really got any opportunity. So I think it's super valuable. I don't think it's taught enough in school, honestly, um, and I think it should be one of the main things, apart from school and apart from learning. But
Are you low key looking for a cheat code for the application process? Okay. All right. So I mean, just to be like plain, just real with it, right? The things that we look for through the application process is, did you have some type of upper mobility as a leader inside your college experience, right? Did you join a group and then eventually become an officer? And then as that officer, what kind of impact and growth did you have in that position, right? And so, and then also, can you verbalize your impact through metrics, right? We have to be very, very careful with the selection process because, like I said, we're putting you all, or we're connecting you all with jobs who are looking for high impact immediately, right? You have a learning curve, but it's not that much. And then also, what is it? Not only are you going to get out of the fellowship, but what can you bring to the fellowship? Those are things that they want to know as well. How well do you know about our program? Did you have did you do your research? Did you connect with the fellow? Did you connect with some of the events that we have? Because we do have events that you all can be able to attend. Those are the things that we want to see or we want to hear throughout that process, that you understand our mission and vision, you understand the impact that you can give and the impact that you will have. But then also, are you going to be, can you be the leader that we preach to our company partners that you're going to be? Because they're not only paying you, but they're paying us too. And so that value add that you bring has to me, surpass what their expectation is. So think about that as you're going through. If you're not a senior yet, but or if you are a senior, can I look back as I'm going through this application process? Where did I have impact at? When was I a part of a group where I was able to find support? Or how are ways that I was able to maneuver around hurdles? I think that's the question that everybody asks in every interview, right? Give me an experience that you had where you've gotten some feedback, and how did you take hold to that feedback, and what did you do afterwards? Those are the things that you need to be thinking about, be in detail about as you're going through this process, and then just be authentic, because honestly, the process is built to be able to weed out those who are inauthentic. So be authentic in the space, and I feel like you'll do well in that process.
Then in terms of something you can do now too, something I wish I would have done was honestly just kept a roster of all my classmates that I had good relationships with. What were they interested in? Where, what did they end up doing after college? What class do we have together? Same thing with any business cards I got from business leaders. Start creating your own relationship management system in a very rudimentary way now, because man, I wish I could figure out who was that person I worked on that class project with, and they were awesome to work with, and I'd love to, reconnect with them or start a project with them. But to Vaughn's point, I was super involved, and man, I was glad I was, because when you're an accountant trying to get a role at a VC firm, you can't just be an accountant. And I really had to rely on previous involvement at UMKC to land the dream role and move on to that next step. And so you never want to look back and wish you had done that thing or been in that organization. So yeah, get the experience now.
Yeah, join the Enactus group. Any more questions? Go ahead. Yeah. So once you have graduated, you have 3 years. So if you're still within that 3 years of after graduation, you still have opportunities to apply for the fellowship. But if you're outside of those 3 years, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to apply for the fellowship. But we will still invite you to engage with our community. So, like I said, we'll have public events, we'll have validation challenges and things like that for you to be involved in. But right now, as the organization is at this point, if you're a graduate or you have graduated within the last 3 years, you can apply for the fellowship. I hope that answered your question.
Your background would be in very high demand.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, because a good majority of the fellowship is not very technical heavy, and those are the first fellows that have the feeding frenzy, and they end up, going to the highest bidder at that point.
Maybe I wish I hadn't started in public accounting and gone the less risky side. It always works out. I mean, if you have an idea of where you want to go, I don't regret it. It enabled me to come in with a technical background, add the soft skills to that. And it's just how you market yourself, brand yourself, network. So either option, either path can get you to where you want to go within startups. Think I got lucky just being 3 years out of college. I had already adjusted to adulting. I luckily didn't become a caffeine addict. So I already had that foundation. I had my community involvement. And so I was kind of able to pull in other fellows into what I already knew here. If I had really stretched myself and gone to a different city, that would have been a whole different challenging process, which I was, excited for and wanted to do that. And I think that is a great way to get a lot out of the program as well. But I think the hardest part is going from maybe a structured position to this scenario. And, hopefully you're someone who thrives off of that and is great at problem solving, but just trying to figure out your own way and determine your interests when you don't always have, hey, here's the playbook of how you should do your role.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar as going into that environment where there is an unknown, and being able to take that and fuel your, whatever value add you're bringing to the organization, and not be scared of the unknown, because that's where all the opportunity is possible. But other than that, I think, I mean, this shows a lot about VFA, but everything has been really smooth so far, and I think it's structured very well so that, you know, there's not many difficult parts. Obviously, selection day is more, uh, I would say, nerve wracking because you really want to get in, and but as long as you're yourself and really take it one step at a time, then I think that you know, it's made for people like that, and I think that you'll do great in the process.
And I'm just to kind of be devil's advocate. Sometimes it's not all rainbows and unicorns. You know, we do have those times where fellows are not matched with the right company, right? And you know, we've had fellows who leave on the first day. We have fellows who leave after 6 months, just because it just wasn't what they expected it to be. But one thing that I can say is that VFA, as a national organization, we strive to make sure that you feel supported in all of those instances. So not only do you have a community director inside the city that will help you navigate those experiences, we also have our national team that you can reach out to and just let them know, like, hey, I'm going through a tough time, or hey, this opportunity is not what I expected it to be. And we, as an entire organization, try to fulfill you and give you the right resources to be able to navigate any situation that you might be in. So I was saying, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm meeting with a transitioning fellow tomorrow for an hour just to talk about, like, what are their motivations, what are they looking for, what didn't work, how can we help them find the right location. So we're all hands on deck to support people when they need another scenario as well. So,
And let me say, that fellow, he just quit his job a week ago, and he's probably met with not only just the VFA staff, but probably 6 other people inside the Kansas City ecosystem who's currently right now looking for a job for him. And so you really get a full on wraparound support to help you navigate those spaces, so that you can be able to land in a space that you want to be. Thanks. That's time.
Yeah, that's time. Thank you so much to our VFA panel. Round of applause. Excellent. This is great. Appreciate it. We have pizza outside, so you can feel free to stick around, hang out, come ask questions, meet everybody up on the panel. They can stick around for maybe a little bit. Hopefully, yeah, fantastic. Meet them, and we will be back here again first Wednesday next month. Come back, join us. We'll see you then. Thanks so much for coming.